Hello Internet, my name is Lave and I watched The Secret of Marrowbone, which is brought to us from the producers of Pan's Labyrinth and The Orphanage, which was directed by J.A. Bayona, who's also serving as an executive producer on this film and has brought on his friend and buddy Sergio Sánchez as writer and first-time director. His film follows an English family who have moved to a remote part of the US to escape something from their past. However, when their mother passes away, the responsibilities falls on the oldest son Jack to look after his three siblings, who promises to keep them secluded but safe. But their past comes back to haunt them and all kinds of weird shit starts happening. So it's quite hard to categorise this film, which has been billed as a drama. It's also a thriller. I would say it's more of a mystery thriller than a straight up thriller. It's also a horror film, and there's also an element of fairy tale to it as well, which is all very ambitious considering this is a directorial debut. And I think looking at those elements individually, this film does work very well, but together I wouldn't say that they make the film greater than the sum of its parts. Maybe because as the film reveals more and more of its secrets, I got the feeling that I'd seen it all before, but done in better movies. But that's not to say there isn't still a lot to admire in this film. I think Sánchez and his cinematographer Xavi Gimenez have captured a real sense of beauty in their isolation. Their stately home, for example, is a bit unkept on the outside, but still very idyllic. Juxtapose that with the suitably dark and dingy interior scenes when the horror elements really kick in. And when the horror elements do kick in, it's pretty effective. If you're a massive horror fan, I wouldn't say it's going to completely fill your appetite, but when it does happen, it is effective. Apart from a couple of moments, for example, there is one misjudged choice of soundtrack when the Beach Boys kick in, which completely sucked out all of the suspense in that particular scene for me. And there is another moment in a chimney which is meant to be very claustrophobic, and it's filmed that way, but I just completely lost all sense of what's going on. Then you've got the drama side of the film, and performance-wise the cast are very good. MacKay stands out as Jack, the eldest brother, burdened with all of the responsibility. Charlie Heaton as Billy, the middle brother, is also good. You can see why he's been cast, because he's playing a slightly more traumatised version of his character from Stranger Things. Their sister, played by Goth, and their little brother Sam, played by Matthew Stagg, were a bit wobbly at first, but as the film progresses they do have their moments to shine, and overall I did buy them as a family. I was invested in their story. But then there's another part to the film where it really slows down for me, which involves Anya Taylor-Joy's character Ali, who's a girl that they know and is their neighbour, but she lives on a farm quite far away from them. That's how remote they are. She has a relationship of sorts with Jack, but also is trying to fend off some advances from a lawyer who happens to be working on closing the deal on their house. Now, there's nothing wrong with their performances per se. Anya Taylor-Joy is as good as usual. She's just had better parts in better films. I just think that's where the film is at its most cliched and predictable. And then there's the thriller mystery side of the film, which does have a lot of twists and turns on its way to answering all of the questions that it poses along the way. I just don't feel it had the same impact as some of the other films which I think it's been influenced by. So that's my thoughts on The Secret of Marrowbone, and pause the video if you want to take a closer look at my enjoyment tracker now. Overall, this film has been shot very well. It's got good presentation as well as some good casting who deliver decent performances. In truth, I probably would have rated this film higher had I not been so familiar with other films which have done similar things, but I can't knock the director's ambition for a directorial debut. It's good. I think this film is being released in a week or so alongside a video on demand service as well. I think it's worth going to see in the cinema for its visuals alone, and just horror films like this in general are better with an audience, so worth checking out in the cinema if you haven't seen a lot of other films that it's like. So thanks very much for watching my review. I really do appreciate it. If you can, give this video a like and don't forget to share the Lave. Subscribe.